shouldn't be here," she whispered. "This is my home." Neighbors later said they heard screaming, furniture crashing, a door slamming so hard the frame splintered. But when police arrived, they found the house empty. No forced entry, no footprints, no sign of struggle. Only one thing was out of place. It started on a Sunday evening, on a stretch of rural highway that barely had streetlights. Daniel was driving home from his sister's house, a quiet, empty trip he'd made dozens of times. But this time, he noticed something ahead on the shoulder of the road. A woman. She was standing completely still, facing the woods instead of the road, her arms hanging stiffly at her sides. Daniel slowed, thinking she might be injured or lost. When his headlights swept across her, she turned her head just enough to reveal her profile. Her hair was messy, her clothes dirty, and she looked disoriented, like she'd been wandering for hours. Against his better judgment, Daniel pulled over. He cracked the window just an inch. "Ma'am, are you okay?" She didn't answer at first. Instead, she stepped closer, her eyes unfocused, as if she couldn't quite see him, but knew exactly where he was. "Do you live around here?" he asked again. This time she nodded, slowly, stiffly. He hesitated. "Do you need a ride somewhere?" She didn't respond. She just opened the back door and sat down. No hesitation, no expression, just sat. Daniel's stomach tightened, but he tried to remain calm. He told himself she might be in shock. Maybe she needed help. Maybe she wasn't dangerous, just scared. He started driving. For the first few minutes, neither of them spoke. The woman just stared out the window, her hands folded in her lap. In the rearview mirror, Daniel noticed small scratches on her arms, dirt under her nails, like she'd crawled through something. "Where should I take you?" he asked. She finally spoke, her voice soft, monotone. "Home." "Okay," he said. "Where's home?" She looked at him in the mirror. Her pupils were too wide, almost swallowing the color of her eyes. "Just keep driving," she whispered. A shiver rolled down Daniel's spine. He tried again. "Can you tell me the street? A landmark? Anything?" But she simply turned her head back toward the window, her breathing slow and steady, like she was trying to calm herself or trying not to panic. The rest of the drive was silent. When they reached the edge of town, Daniel pulled into a gas station. "I need to know where I'm taking you," he said firmly. "I just can't." He froze. The back seat was empty. She was gone. Daniel scrambled out of the car and looked around the lot, calling out. There was no sign of her, no footsteps, no movement. One moment she was there, and the next, she wasn't. Eventually, Daniel told himself she'd slipped away without him noticing. People in shock behave strangely. Maybe she didn't want help after all. He drove home and tried to push the whole thing out of his mind. But that night, everything changed. Around 1 a.m., Daniel woke to the sound of footsteps outside his bedroom window. Slow, heavy, dragging slightly at the end of each step. He thought he was dreaming, until something tapped the glass. Not once, not twice, but 3 slow taps. Daniel sat up, heart pounding. He approached the curtains with shaking hands and pulled them open just a crack. Someone was standing in his yard. A woman. The same woman. Daniel stumbled back and grabbed his phone, dialing 911 with trembling fingers. When he looked again, she was gone. He didn't sleep the rest of the night. But the officer on duty, an older man who'd lived in the town forever, looked troubled when Daniel described her. "She said she lived here," Daniel insisted. "She followed me home. She was standing in my yard." The officer hesitated before asking a question Daniel didn't expect. "She doesn't get in unless she recognizes the house." Daniel felt a chill crawl up his spine. "What are you talking about?" The officer exhaled slowly, leaning back in his chair. "A woman went missing on that highway 30 years ago," he said. "Neighbors said she used to wander at night. Convinced her husband was hiding their home from her. She'd knock on random doors, beg them to let her in. Said she lived there before they did. Daniel swallowed hard. They never found her. People claimed to see her for years after, confused, lost, looking for a place she thought belonged to her. Daniel shook his head. I don't understand. Why would she follow me home? The officer stared at him with a look Daniel would never forget. Because she only follows the ones she recognizes, he said. Daniel's breath caught in his throat. That night, he double-checked every lock, every window, every blind. He tried to convince himself it was all in his imagination, that none of it was real. But sometime after midnight, Daniel heard the back door creak open. A soft, dragging footstep moved across the hardwood floor. Another and another. By the time Daniel reached the hallway, she was already there, standing at the far end, her head tilted, her eyes wide, breathing in long, slow, shaky breaths. You shouldn't be here, she whispered. This is my home. Neighbors later said they heard screaming, furniture crashing, a door slamming so hard the frame splintered. But when police arrived, they found the house empty. No forced entry, no footprints, no sign of struggle. Only one thing was out of place: the back door, gently swinging open. And on the floor near the hallway, a single long strand of tangled dirt-covered hair. Daniel was never seen again, but every now and then, someone driving that same rural highway reports a figure on the roadside. A woman standing perfectly still, facing the trees, waiting for someone kind enough or unlucky enough to offer her a way home.